We have an opportunity to help a client that has a problem, a messy laundry room. Let's look. Like a lot of laundry rooms, including ours, it's a mess. Let's see what we can do to help them. We have some corner space here in our room that would allow us to put some freestanding shelves. We have a light switch we have to worry about, and we have a dryer here that a door opens up. I've taken some measurements, and we can make a 16-inch deep cabinet by 32 inches wide, and we have to have it so that we can get it through the door. I took my measurements, I drew a cabinet. Let's go to the shop and build it. Based on the measurements we took at our laundry room, we have designed a cabinet here that would fit our space. It's going to be 32 inches wide. It's going to be 80 inches tall because we have a narrow hallway. We've only made it high enough, tall enough that we can slide it through the door standing up. It's going to be 16 inches deep. We made it 16 inches deep because of the fact that we get better cuts out of our wood. Our space is actually allowed 18 inches, but we could only get two 18-inch slices out of a sheet of 4x8, but we can get three 16-inch slices. So we're making it 16 inches deep. We have drawn a rough drawing here, just like the ones that I do whenever I do prints. 32 inches wide, 80 inches high, 16 inches deep. I've listed my parts out. And so we're just going to go ahead and cut out all our parts now and get ready for banding. I'll just have you watch me do that. We've completed our cutout now. We've cut our sides, our shelves, everything's ready to go. While we were cutting, we also cut out our 1/4 inch back, so that's ready to go. We're now getting ready to band, and we'll do our banding here, and then we'll be ready to assemble. We're all done with our cutting, banding, and drilling, so we're ready for assembly. Now there's a couple of things that I want to go over as we assemble that are typical in the way that I assemble cabinets. We have a bottom rail of 4 inches, and our floor is going to sit on top of that. I always put in a little cleat on the inside, and my floor will rest on it. And I'm going to go ahead and nail those in, and then I'll show you how that works. What that does is allow my floor to be a little extra, the floor of my cabinet to be a little extra support, but it also makes it easy to measure. And so we're just going to go ahead, nail this piece in here right now. I'm going to put on my glasses so I can see. Oh, look at that. Anyway, we'll nail these pieces on here, and then we'll nail the floor in, and we'll show you how that works. These are 1¼ 18 gauge nails that we're using, so they won't go through to the outside of our cabinet. This is the bottom side here that I'm working on. So now our cleats are in. Here is the floor of our cabinet. We've already nailed on the bottom rail, and so we take this and turn our side up, and you can see how our floor fits over the top of that cleat, and it just measures it for us and holds it flat. And so we'll nail from the outside, and then we'll give it a couple of shots down through the top to just give it some extra stability. But that little cleat that we just nailed on makes it so that we don't have to worry about our measurement. We're perfectly level, and we're exactly the right measurement from the floor up that we wanted to be. All right, let's nail her in place. Again, 1¼ 18 gauge nails. And when we get done nailing this in place, we're going to put a couple of grabber screws, 1¼ or 1.5 grabber screws in there for extra stability, and then we'll cover those as we are finishing up our build. Okay, now we'll do the exact same thing to the other side. We'll slide our little cleat there. There's our bottom floor all nailed in, or all measured into the place exactly where it's supposed to be. All right, there's the bottom of our cabinet. And we'll put it at the top. The top will not have a hanging cleat, but here is our top rail already nailed to our top. We're going to bring it around here, and we're just going to make the top flush with the top of the cabinet, and that will be our inside rail, and that will be the opening of our cabinet, just like that. So we'll give some nails here. We'll be done with the basic assembly. I've turned the cabinet over on its face so that we can get ready to put the back on. Before we put the back on, we're going to put some hanging cleats or some supports on the inside, just like that. We'll nail those from the outside and from the bottom, and we're going to have one up at the top. That just helps hold our cabinet extra straight and extra square while we nail our back on, which will continue to also make our cabinet more square. So we'll nail these in, and then we'll nail the back on. Our back is 1/4 inch one-sided white melamine, and so we're just going to flip it over. And line it up, and we'll nail it on with 3/4 inch staples, small crown staples. This will hold our cabinet really good and square. Now, we've already done all of the things that we could do to possibly make it square so that our shelves will fit right, but this is really going to hold it good and square. It'll be a great cabinet when we get ready to put it in because it'll be all level and square. So let's go ahead and nail on the back. We're now installing the screws in our top and bottom that we talked about. We drill a pilot hole, and then we're putting an 1.5 grabber. We're doing this top and bottom on our shelves, or on our end pieces. This is just for additional support, additional strength. Just like that. Very good. Well, what do you think? The cabinet part is all done. All we got to do is clean up the shelves and get ready for delivery and install. This will make a great addition to their laundry. Okay, we've cleaned and filed our shelves. And by the way, I always sand the back sides of my shelf, even though it's an unfinished edge. Melamine is very sharp and can cut you. And so if you file or sand that little edge, you kind of dull that sharp edge a little bit, and it just is a little safer. So that's the reason I do that. It's not for any other reason other than it just is a little safer. So now that we have our shelves all done, let's go and install. Wow, how's that for adding some shelf space? This is great. I love it. I'd have this in my house, and I'll bet you would too. And let's try something else like this next time on Woodworking with Wes.